Oh, I'd like to welcome everyone to the annual debate between the students from the Royal University for Women in Bahrain and the students from West Virginia University in Morgantown. In years past, this debate has been held during our regular cultural exchange visit when students from West Virginia University visited our friends in the magnificent country of Bahrain. Last year, unfortunately, COVID-19 thwarted our efforts, and at the very last minute, our group was unable to travel to visit our friends around the world. But COVID-19 did not get the last word. Last year, we vowed that we would return to see our friends once again, debate a worthy topic. And although at the time I think we envisioned a physical trip, when that plan proved to be impossible, we began to work with our colleagues across the globe to create a new type of study abroad. Thus, the WVU RUW Virtual Study Abroad was born. This semester, students from both schools have taken part in a program we call Appalachia and the Arabian Gulf: Gender, Women, and Entrepreneurship from Around the Globe. Together, we have studied each other's culture. We have studied female entrepreneurs from both regions. We are working on a marketing case competition. And of course, we've been working on this debate. So I welcome all of you in the spirit of friendly competition, intellectual curiosity, and most importantly, friendship. I personally have been very fortunate to develop an engaging and transformative relationship with my colleagues at RUW, and I know that our students feel the same way. And now I'd like to introduce one of those colleagues, Ms. Hajar Amar, who's a lecturer for the Center for General Studies at the Royal University for Women. Take it away, Hajar.
Thank you, Dr. Susan. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to RUW WVU Annual Debate. As Dr. Susan has mentioned, COVID-19 did not stop us. We are here today live from Bahrain and from the US presenting our debate, which is also about COVID-19. So today, hopefully you're going to hear a very interesting discussion and the debate about the impact of COVID-19 on women. Both teams are going to discuss the challenges and the opportunities provided to women. So welcome to our live debate. I will go ahead, not to waste more time, to introduce our next distinguished speaker, Mr. Parsa Zukaki, Assistant to the President for Quality Assurance and Institutional Effectiveness. And he is the person who has been, coaching this program for many, many years. So welcome, Mr. Parsa. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hajar. Hello to everyone, and I would like to welcome you all, our colleagues in WVU and REW, the actual debaters, and everyone else who's watching this. Welcome on behalf of the management of REW to all of you. I'm very excited for this program, and I'm very excited to be part of this and see how this pans out today. As Dr. Vivian said, we actually started this back in 2009. That's the very first time we had the debate, and it's amazing to see that so many years have gone by and we're still doing this. We've done it in many different forms. It's the first time we're doing it virtually, of course, but we've done it in a variety of forms. There was a point of time we actually had the debate between RUW WVU and Cambridge University. That was a number of years ago. So we've done this in so many different ways and with other participants involved. It's always been one of the highlights every year. A lot of people, faculty and students, actually look forward to this specific event. I remember the very last time we held this at RUW, and you would remember there were people even sitting on the steps in the auditorium. It was full packed. We actually had to tell people not to come in. Everyone actually enjoys this very much. This is a very, very interesting event for all of us. And obviously our collaboration with West Virginia does not actually just revolve around debates. WVU is our strategic partner. We've been working on a variety of different topics. We've had student exchange, faculty exchange, some of them just now Dr. Susan talked about. We've done workshops together, worked on women's health, business communications, women entrepreneurs. So there's so much that we share and so much that we do together. And the debate is obviously one of the things that we do, which I personally feel and have very close to heart, because but when it started, I was running CGS, and until the last time we had the debates, I was actually mentoring these students. I'm now, unfortunately, a little bit away from that, and I don't do that anymore, but it's still very close to my heart. So I'm very happy we're doing this. And I just wanted to say that debating by nature is really important. I feel that it's something that promotes critical thinking. It promotes looking for loopholes in theories, teamwork, confidence in speech delivery. So it has a lot of good things that it brings with it, other than the fact that we have a friendly debate. I've seen throughout the years, mentoring students, how students have changed, and they're not the same person anymore. They start thinking more analytically. They take everything they hear with a pinch of salt. So there is so much that debating brings with it. And every time we do this, I'm very excited to see, how everyone thinks about the topic. But the topic today, as everyone's been saying, is COVID-19 and the opportunities it's created. I'm actually happy that today we will be hearing about and will be reminded of the challenges that COVID-19 has caused, the pains, maybe the issues a lot of people around the world have faced. On the other hand, we'll be talking about the opportunities that the COVID-19 has provided us with, and maybe the silver lining that a lot of us need to hear and no one really talks about. So I'm very much looking forward to a stimulating, thought-provoking debate. So thanks to everyone. Good luck.
Susan?
Yes, I believe our next speaker is David Dolly from West Virginia University.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. I tell you what, this virtual study abroad class involves a whole host of things that I've been privy to, one of which is an exchange of cultural digital narratives. The second of which is it's a marketing case competition. I've seen guest speakers who are female entrepreneurs from Bahrain and also from West Virginia. And I've also seen this business model canvas with the WVU Ancova Center. This whole initiative, at least on our end, the WVU end, was supported in part by my center, the Robin Center for Global Business and Strategy, or a college department. Also, this course from our end was sponsored in part by professional development grants that came from our university's Office of Global Affairs and Education Abroad. Interestingly enough, and I'm very proud of this course in particular, collaborative work's been recognized by the WVU Office of the Provost and also the West Virginia Public Education Collaborative for this cross-cultural work between these two schools with a digital learning award for this effort. We can't travel abroad right now due to the coronavirus, but we are embracing virtual international collaborations. And this class in particular with the Royal University of Women is a perfect example of how we as global partners can share and learn from each other, even in a remote environment. I've looked in on a number of sessions, and I applaud Dr. Lance and her colleagues at the Royal University for Women for this innovative way in which they're engaging both the Bahraini and American students. I see relationships blooming among students and faculty and increased understandings of our respective cultures. Moreover, we're excited to further this very important relationship that we have with the Royal University for Women. I can tell you there's a lot of ongoing discussion between our two schools, and we're exploring many other new avenues for additional collaboration between us at the graduate and undergraduate levels. Here at my university, Dr. Lance's international collaborative activity with the Royal University of Women has been recognized and awarded at multiple levels through my center and also through our Office of Global Affairs. And finally, I'll comment that obviously our two schools operate in very different cultures, but this collaborative work to me, and I think to a lot of our students as well, shows that we really are a whole lot more similar than we are different, and I applaud that. In closing, I just want to recognize a few here from my campus who have helped us out tremendously. Amber Bignoli, who is the Vice President and Executive Director in our Office of Global Affairs. Vanessa Yurkovic, who is our director of the WVU Education Abroad Office, our Associate Dean Kleist, who's the Associate Dean for Graduate Programs and Global Engagement, Associate Dean Graham Peace, who is the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Undergraduate Programs, Dr. Fitzgerald, who is on with us today. She is the professor, and Nathan Haddad, Professor of Business Administration here in the college. Carrie White's the Executive Director of the WVU Launch Lab. David Satterfield, the Director of Asset Development for our Office of Research and Economic Development. Katie Gallagher, the West Virginia Director of Parent Relations, and also, and last but certainly not least, our Dean Javier Reyes, who's the Milan Puiscard Dean of our college, and also Vice President for Startup West Virginia. I applaud this activity. I think it's really cool that you're doing this in a virtual environment, and I have to thank everybody for allowing us to do this. So thank you very much. I look forward to watching this.
I'd also like to jump in and add that Dr. David Stewart, who is the former president of the Royal University for Women and has come back to West Virginia University, is with us today as well. And so we welcome him back. And without all of the work that he's done with the Royal University for Women, we probably wouldn't be here doing this right now. So. Take it away,
Dr.
Vivian.
Lance. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Lance. Thank you, Dr. Dolly. Welcome, everybody. I also would like to say hello to the U.S. Embassy in the Kingdom of Bahrain, who's always been very supportive of the relationship. And Ms. Eller, Director of Public Affairs, is attending the event with members of the Public Affairs and with the support of the Chargé d'Affaires, Mrs. Nardi. Hello to all our colleagues at West Virginia University, Dr. Stewart, of course, a former acting president here at RUW, and Dr. Mona Suri, our acting president. So we have the President's Club this afternoon joining us, and Dr. Brignoli, Dr. Peace, dear deans, directors, colleagues, students, welcome to the annual debate, again, between RUW and West Virginia as part of the exchange. I'll be the moderator this afternoon, and I promise I'll be quite neutral, being a WVU alum, and of course, serving this outstanding young woman here at the Royal University for Women in the Kingdom of Bahrain. So as you heard from my colleagues, the topic of this year, the House believes that COVID-19 provides new opportunities for women. It's quite a topic when you know that our teams are intrinsically connected to women advancement, a private university for women, and a major public university in the United States, providing all kinds of opportunities for young women, but also the home of one of the leading Center for Women Studies in the United States. Dear debaters, your predecessors often debated traditional topics on gender issues, marriage, family, women leadership, prejudices in the East and the West. And today, what you guys are about to discuss is nothing but traditional, right? So something that we have been living through, but certainly from different perspectives, as we are about to find out. The RUW team will argue for the statement, meaning there's a positive impact, and the W team will argue against the statement, meaning against the statement. Okay, let me introduce both teams. First of all, on the RUW side, we have this year, the crew is mostly College of Law. So we welcome again the support of the College of Law and the College of Law faculty members with us this evening on Zoom. So we have Fatima, Aldana, Noor, and Sakina for Royal University for Women. On the West Virginia side, we have Catherine, Stephanie, Sophie, and Marissa. The list of majors on the West Virginia side is a little more diverse. We have international studies, we have political science, we have global supply chain management, and another international studies major, and I think a finance and accounting as well at the halftime. So let me just give you the rules for this afternoon. We're going to have the first round, right? So every debater is going to have 3 minutes each. And I will ring the bell once we have 30 seconds left. Okay. And then I will ring it twice when you guys hit the 3-minute mark. Okay. Then we're going to have a break, just kind of like the halftime of the Super Bowl show, right? When we're going to have two of outstanding young women, one at RUW, Fiza, the head of the Student Council, will present RUW. And at West Virginia University, we will have Elizabeth Sexton, Chamber Student Ambassador, a finance and accounting major, will be presenting the review. During the break, our team will work on the rebuttal, and then they will come back for 1 minute rebuttal each. Okay? Okay, are you guys ready? Yes? And by the way, we have about 200 people on this Zoom, so it's very, very exciting. So welcome everybody from all over the world. Now, the first affirmative speaker is going to be Fatima Naim, College of Law. Fatima, are you ready? Okay, so let me give you the signal. Yeah, 3 minutes. Yes, come here. Ready, Fatima?
Just a second. Okay.
Go.
There are 193 countries around the world, but only 22 countries have a female head of state or government. Most people, when they hear that, think to themselves, oh, it must be men have most of the top roles, so it must be because they're doing something right. But that's not right. They ask women to act more like men, but that's a misconception. It underestimates and it misrepresents women. But with the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic and female leaders having a significantly better and rapid response to it, it provided us with an opportunity to shed more light on the effectiveness of female leadership. It's in the headlines everywhere. The whole world is talking about it and is interested in it. So when we talk about these female-led nations doing significantly better, it's important to mention, it's not that these female-led nations didn't have that many COVID-19 cases. It's that regardless of the amount of cases they had, they managed to report lower death rates. And that proves the quality of their policies, performance, and leadership. Now that was internationally. Let's focus on the national level. The Supreme Council for Women in the Kingdom of Bahrain launched a national campaign called Together for the Safety of Bahrain. It was launched specifically to support Bahraini women and families during the COVID-19 pandemic by aiding their needs and necessities. So you can notice whether females internationally or nationally, they focused on fulfilling the emotional and social needs of the people. They focused and worked hard on getting a positive public response. Now, why do I say female leadership during a pandemic is evidently more effective? The reason we believe that is because the type of leadership that is required in a crisis tends to come more naturally to women. We're not saying it is unique to women, however, it is more common within women. Why is that? Because women have been sidelined for so long. They had to fight for every opportunity and chance they got. And most times, even after putting up a fight, they wouldn't get the chance. They had to create the opportunities themselves. And by being sidelined, they're more aware what's wrong with the system, its flaws and errors, from misogyny, patriarchy, and hierarchy. So the leadership style of women leaders during the COVID-19 response was described as being more collective, collaborative, and coaching in the process of combating the global pandemic. And the effort of these female leaders met a great response by the public. As prior to the pandemic, nearly half of the world's population, 47% to be exact, believed that men made better political leaders. However, today, with the effective virus containment policies and the lower COVID-19 death rates, these females are setting an example, presenting more women with the opportunity to take part in leadership on a larger scale and to be accepted as leaders, disapproving of all the discriminatory social.
Thank you, Fatima. Next speaker, we have a slight revision of order for the West Virginia team. So our first speaker for West Virginia University will be Stephanie Golden, double major international studies and political science. She will be the second speaker against and the first for West Virginia University. Okay, are you, Stephanie, can you hear me? Stephanie?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can hear me? Okay. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Gender disparity in the workplace is no new phenomenon. According to the organization United Nations Women, females worldwide make only 77 cents for every dollar earned by men. This inequality is severely amplified for women of color, immigrants, and mothers, especially in developing countries. Women also lack representation around the globe. UN Women reports that women serve as heads of state in just 22 countries, and that 119 countries have never had a female leader. Women everywhere are being underrepresented and underappreciated, and the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated this tremendously. According to a study conducted by the University of Chicago, rich and poor countries alike have witnessed a boom in higher education rates since the 1970s, and women are responsible for most of this growth. In most countries, women have surpassed men in college attainments. Why then are there fewer women in leadership positions in the workplace? Unconscious bias plays a huge role here. Fewer women are hired into entry-level positions, which results in fewer women being qualified for managerial roles. It's not that women are unfit to do the job, it's that they simply aren't given the chance to perform despite possessing necessary skills. Achieving a work-life balance is more difficult for women. Certain fields such as law, business, and healthcare require longer work weeks and penalize employees for taking time off. This negatively impacts women because they often take on childcare and domestic responsibilities while simultaneously working a job. These harsh requirements often discourage women from pursuing certain career aspirations. According to a study conducted by Catalyst, only 41 million men provide unpaid childcare on a full-time basis, compared to 606 million women. This phenomenon is dubbed by UN Women as the motherhood penalty. Essential jobs that have required in-person work throughout the pandemic are heavily staffed by women. Healthcare, social work, government and community-based services, as well as education are largely comprised of women. My question is, how is one expected to be an essential worker and a mother, a caretaker, a nurturer? Before the pandemic, 100 million girls worldwide were at risk of child marriage in the next decade. According to UNICEF, up to 10 million more girls are at risk thanks to the pandemic. So, it is evident that the COVID-19 pandemic has amplified pre-existing issues, such as fewer qualified women, work-life balance, frontline working conditions, and the safety of young girls. We are failing women. We were doing this before, and we are doing it now more so than ever.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Now, our next speaker, so the second affirmative speaker on behalf of Royal University for Women, is Aldana Juma, College of Law. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go, Aldana.
So, according to the World Health Organization, globally, 70% of healthcare employees are women, and 90% of these employees are nurses, and 25% have senior positions. Up until 2 years ago, we have not been aware of how much women do in this field until the outbreak of coronavirus, which has shown us how much women can risk for the well-being of others and their countries. COVID-19's task force in Bahrain comprises of 75% women. Bahrain has a hands-on grip on the spread of coronavirus, and as we can see, due to the opportunities given to women, they have shown how they can combat the disease. And if we look at the task force in the US, a percentage of 10% women have been selected to be a part of the task force since President Joe Biden has been elected. We can see high female participation in Bahrain's medical task force and how effective It was, and the outcomes were outstanding. COVID-19 has situated the spotlight on getting rid of gender norms and normalizing the fact that women can reach senior ranks in the healthcare sector and can be a part of decision-making, juggling their house responsibilities and keeping in mind that there is a risk of being a victim of this virus. And the chance of leaving their children motherless has not stopped them. It did not stop them. Now I'm sure that we are all proud of these women, the women of my country. And the outcomes are obvious. The silver lining is here. Organizations such as the World Health Organization continue to work on methods to eradicate gender discrimination and segregation within the healthcare field, to have a foundation built on equality. And hand in hand with what Bahrain has done and what WHO is doing, have more and more opportunities for women, and hopefully a domino effect will happen and other fields will see this as a good outcome. Effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Aldana. We would like to call on the next speaker again on behalf of West Virginia University, Catherine Charlebois, Katie Charlebois, International Studies major. Katie, are you with us?
Yes.
You tell me when you're ready, okay?
I'm ready.
Okay, hold on. Katie, go.
Over the past year, the world has witnessed the negative effects of COVID-19 and its disproportionate effect on women. Traditional domestic gender roles and inequality in the workplace have only been more exposed during these times. COVID has forced women to take extra responsibilities in their day-to-day lives. The existing work-life balance that we began to get accustomed to in 2019 has been completely disrupted, and women have been forced to deal with the new challenges on top of the old pre-existing ones. Old gender roles for women have left lasting impacts throughout the whole world and have left women as the primary caretaker of children, despite joining the workforce. This disadvantage, coupled with the switch to online school, has led women taking on a role of teacher in their homes. This adds yet another task to their day, thus causing more stress in their home lives. Women becoming educators, as well as mothers and workers, requires additional time during their day, having to learn new concepts, as well as relearn former ones that they may not have used in years, which can be extremely difficult. In addition to this, they have to fix any technological errors that their children face in order to keep them able to learn and be successful. Additionally, children being home for school creates a greater need for household cleaning. According to the Department of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, women globally spend about 3 times as many hours on unpaid domestic and care work as men. This gap can become as significant as 7 times more in certain parts of the world. In total, women are doing more domestic labor than their male counterparts. This disadvantage has become a heavier weight through the increasing daily workload for women and can be a distraction from their job. With the larger portion of women dealing with this stress, this has led to some women facing more problems at work due to the burnout of all these extra responsibilities. Unemployment during COVID-19 has been disproportionately affecting to women. According to the Organization of the United Nations for Women, care jobs typically have been women-dominated, such as teachers, waitresses, nurses, and flight attendants, as well as doing the bulk of unpaid domestic work. These workforces have been impacted significantly during the past year in terms of employment availability, accessibility to perform their jobs, as well as emotional strain. Additionally, gender norms and inequalities have made women the last one hired and the first one fired in many instances, leading to more underemployment as well as unemployment. It is obvious that these circumstances have only limited opportunities for women. These nonstop changes women have had to deal with during COVID have been a generally large pile of additional responsibilities. The speed at which these changes occurred have meant that women have not had the chance to begin to cope with what has happened in the world and in their daily lives. This has forced women to put themselves on autopilot and not process the tragic event that has taken place. The complete sudden transformation of women's lives in both the public and the private spheres has been a generally negative experience in which not all the impacts have yet been realized.
Thank you. Thank you, Katie. We would like now to call on our third Afro speaker for Royal University for Women, Noor Jassim from the College of Law. Noor, are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Are you aware that women are the epitome of wealth and power? Women play an important role in the society, and the whole family is dependent on women for its daily activities. The women who are in job have to also fulfill their job responsibilities while managing home and family. And this job varies from being a president ruling the whole country to agricultural, providing food necessity to an entire village. With COVID-19, the pandemic pushes the world to a recession people calling it. But luckily, women changed the hard hit and coped with it by having women business owners being trendsetters, showcasing resiliency and innovation, even in the midst of a pandemic. They're doing more than just surviving, they're thriving. And they're still passionate about culture, work-life balance, the environment, and making the world around them a better place. Now, they have their own virtual online businesses. Homemade items are being made, and people are supporting them, so they are making an income. Bahrain has implemented a new law which allows virtual online businesses to practice legally, which is introducing the virtual commercial registrations. According to the United Nations report on leveraging digitalization to cope with COVID-19, roughly 48% of the population around the world uses the internet, and tapping into online markets has become a key COVID-19 coping strategy for businesses. Business owners in the country preventing face-to-face interactions. An estimated 54% of women-owned micro-businesses now uses the internet to sell products, compared to 39% of men-owned micro-businesses. 68% of those owned by women use the internet, compared with 52% of those owned by men. It is expected that the COVID-19 crisis will continue pushing many businesses into digital realms in order to expand access to a wider customer base. Today, because of COVID, women are not obliged to choose between her job and her children. Today, women could deliver amazing quality work from home between her family and kids. Not to forget that the success of or a nation depends on the well-being upbringing of children, and if women were absent of doing so because of their long working hours, that prevents them from staying and spending time with their kids, without the balance they are offered today because of the crisis, it will surely affect the long run of society as a whole. So in the end, we can see that COVID-19 has a positive impact on the economic aspect when it comes to women.
Thank you, Noor. Our next speaker is on behalf of West Virginia University, Marisa McCoy. She's the Global Supply Chain Management.
Thank you.
Hold on a second, give me just Marisa, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Marisa, go.
The COVID-19 pandemic has put a spotlight on all healthcare workers around the world. Of the estimated 20 million nurses worldwide, 80% are women and make up about 50% of the healthcare workforce. It is these essential workers that have cared for your loved ones,
who have been isolated from the rest of the world, and most of these workers are women. These women are there to pass along messages from loved ones to patients. They're in hospitals working merciless hours, nonstop, and they were there when fathers weren't even allowed in delivery rooms. But who is taking care of them? While 2020 was deemed the year of the nurse, these pandemic healthcare workers have been extremely overworked and their mental health has been put on the back burner. Many of these women run a greater risk of declining physical and mental health. Nurses were on the front lines working with infected patients. They lived with constant fear and anxiety that they could be potentially bringing home the virus to their families. According to the Journal of Depression and Anxiety, in the current pandemic environment, research has shown that nurses are impacted to a greater degree than their physician counterparts by stress, anxiety, and depression. There already aren't enough nurses and doctors to work during this pandemic, and that was an issue beforehand as well. Even before the pandemic, healthcare workers had been experiencing shift fatigue, and the outbreak has only magnified it further. Politicians in the Philippines believe that medical workers should just do a better job, and such insensitivity is what is causing these workers even more distress. It is neglecting the humanity and dignity of the frontliners. Lastly, due to ongoing school closures, healthcare access and education has been and will continue to be limited for many young women. In rural and low-income areas, disruption in education and access to healthcare will lead to an estimated 5 million unplanned pregnancies. And according to the United Nations Population Fund, many family planning resources in Jordan have decreased by 10 to 20%, and lack of maternal care services could claim the lives of 113,000. Additionally, programs that address female genital mutilation have been paused, leading to an estimated 2 million cases of FGM that could have been prevented. Access to healthcare, education, and contraception not only impacts young women presently, but those negatively affected will have to deal with the repercussions long after COVID-19 is in our lives. I'm sure COVID-19 has brought up many opportunities for different people, but for healthcare professionals, this has been a constant nightmare. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marisa. So the fourth and last speaker for our Royal University for Women before the rebuttal time is Sakina Ali from the College of Law, who will be speaking on behalf of RUW. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, Sakina, go.
Awareness has been highlighted by many as a key indicator of success in a range of performance environments. As of January 2021, according to Statista, there's roughly 1 billion monthly active Instagram users. And as of April 2019, there's an average of 330 million monthly active users on Twitter. And as of February 2021, TikTok has reached up to 689 million active users worldwide. Some of these platforms were used to post lighthearted and relatable content, but as time progressed during coronavirus and the more people's screen times increased, the more they learned the true troubles of the world. TikTok was known as a dancing app, but since 2020, it became very popular for political and creators and activists for social issues, which include stopping violence against women, which is a hashtag that has 26.6 million views, as well as a pay gap hashtag, which has a 14.6 million views, a body positivity hashtag with 8 billion views, and my body, my choice hashtag with over 216 million views. You may ask, how is this connected to COVID? Well, COVID is not just a medical illness that affected people. It's also mentally drained people who have or have not been infected. People were put on strict lockdowns during quarantine, and most of Gen Z took to social media for coping, and it's caused people to be more aware of issues in the world and struggles people go through. Even news headlines came from social media platforms such as TikTok and Instagram. Gen Z seems to have taken it upon themselves to get involved in
political issues in any area. COVID-19 has produced more than just masks, lockdowns, and quarantine. It produced new opportunities and enlightenment and awareness to social issues. It has made people online come together on a global scale to combat social injustice. It is evident that these issues have run globally, as UN Women has addressed it as a shadow pandemic, which in other terms is COVID-19 and ending violence against women. And in this response, it is a response to heightened rates of domestic and sexual violence during COVID. This movement highlights the initiatives that have already been taken to ensure women's safety in countries such as Canada's $15 million addition into the aid package to support sexual violence and other gender-based violence shelters, and indicated innovative strategies and tools to address the slowdowns of the justice system. Social media campaigns such as Instagram accounts, as well as websites run by two young women, Marissa Sinclair and Lauren Wang, called Nice for What, came alive in 2020 and gives a platform for survivors of abuse or people that are still in a position of abuse to tell their stories and make other women aware. It is saddening to see that it took a pandemic for the world to realize this, but it is a very positive outcome to be aware of all these things. It makes it clear enough that COVID-19 has not only produced an illness, it has produced change and awareness.
Thank you, Sakina. Perfect timing. Before the break, I would like to call the last speaker for the West Virginia University team, Sophie Stoviak. She's a business administration and human resources pathway at Chambers. So please help me welcome Sophie. Sophie, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you ready now?
Yeah, I am.
Is that okay? All right. 1, 2, 3, go, Sophie.
COVID-19 did not provide substantial new paths to success for women, but rather set them back further when they were already at a disadvantage by increasing financial insecurity, higher rates of unemployment, and food insecurity. Women globally have been impacted by food insecurity at a greater rate than men. People are considered food insecure when they experience the inability to access or afford nutritionally adequate food, and COVID-19 has only increased the rate of food insecurity and food insufficiency amongst women. Food insufficiency, which is regarded as one of the most extreme forms of food insecurity, describes whether households have had enough food for their families to eat. COVID-19 caused a multitude of food-related instability, including disruptions to global food supply chains. According to the OECD, the COVID-19 pandemic has placed unprecedented stresses on global food supply chains with bottlenecks in farm labor, processing, transport, and logistics, as well as momentous shifts in demand. Additionally, food insecurity perpetuates an individual's risk for a decline in mental health, which also contributes to poor overall health. Food insecurity is a direct result of poverty, and poverty in adulthood is linked to depression and anxiety disorders, psychological distress, and suicide. In the Asian Pacific region, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the most vulnerable of the global population. Millions of women and young girls have either been forced to or have needed to stop working since the pandemic began. A UN report found that 53% of women suffered from reduced work hours as compared to 31% of men. Economic pressure on families from the pandemic also heightens the potential of girls being exploited for economic reasons, either through early and forced marriage or being exploited for sex. This pandemic is already unraveling so many hard-won gains in girls' rights, we cannot stand to lose more. Women are less likely than men to have access to financial institutions or have a bank account. While 65% of men report having an account at a formal financial institution, only 58% of women do worldwide. Globally, over 2.7 billion women are legally restricted from having the same choice of jobs as men, according to the UN Women. Of 189 economies assessed in 2018, 104 of them still have laws preventing women from working in specific jobs. The COVID-19 pandemic has only further widened the gap in gender equality. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic has not provided any opportunities for women's success that outweigh the damage it has done to the progress women have fought to make since the beginning of our demand for equality. Temporary advantages that may have presented themselves during the pandemic do not compare to this dismantling of progress that was centuries in the making for women's rights.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sophie. Okay, so this is now the time for both of our teams to leave us physically or virtually to go work on the rebuttal. And as per the tradition, we will have one representative from each university presenting a few slides about the university, freedom of choice in terms of what they want to highlight, student life or programs, different opportunities abroad. We've seen that over the years. And I would like to welcome on behalf of RUW, just to continue to alternate the speakers, Fiza Zain, who's the president of the Student Council, which is the equivalent of student government at West Virginia University, and was an international business major. So please help me welcome Fiza. Our debaters will be back in exactly 20 minutes at 6:05 Bahrain time and 11:05 Morgantown time. Please welcome Fiza.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good. I am Fiza Zain, the Student Council President, and I will be representing RUW. Before I start about RUW Life, I will let you know a little bit about Bahrain. Sorry, is this screen shared?
Is it moving?
Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. Okay, starting with the introduction of Bahrain. Bahrain is an island and it is very much known for its pearl diving and pearls. It's very famous for pearls and is a top seller with local jewelers. And Bahrain is also the first one to discover the oil in the Arabian Gulf in 1932, and it is Bahrain World Trade Center is of the first skyscrapers in the world to integrate wind turbines to its designs. And this is a picture of it, Bahrain World Trade Center. And Bahrain is a modernized country with a very reasonable cost of living, and it has been rated at the 5th in the world for its quality of life and is ranked at number 1st in the MENA region for its personal happiness. About its culture, Bahrain is a true multicultural nation and has the reputation of being the most liberal country in the region. And the reason for that is the wide variety of nationalities and local cultures, most of which come from all over the Gulf, with the largest foreign communities from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Egypt. And this is one of the most important things that I feel a country must have is diversity. I myself am not Bahraini, and that is something I really like about Bahrain. And Bahrain is a constitutional monarchy led by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa since 1999, and it's driven by Islamic and English common law. Its official language is Arabic, followed by English due to its British influence, and Islam is the official religion, retaining a 70% of majority in the population, with Christianity being the second at 4.5%. And Bahrain is a true melting pot for the number of expats outnumbering the locals, as I said before, about the diversity of this country. Talking about the RUW vision, the Royal University's vision is to become the regional leader in academic excellence for women and have its student graduates graduate with being creative and confident and being forward-thinking, and to make them become leaders. For our programs, we have a College of Art and Design, which have Edexcel BTech Level 3 Foundation Diploma in Art and Design. We have a bachelor's degree in Fashion Design, Graphic Design, Interior Design, and Architectural Design. For College of Business and Financial Sciences, excuse me. For College of Business and Financial Sciences, we provide a bachelor's degree in business in banking and finance, international business, human resource, and marketing. It's not, okay. We have a College for Information Technology, which provides a bachelor's degree in information technology. We have College of Law. We have a College for General Studies, which provides courses like women's health, effective communication, psychology, and many more. There is a long list of that. And then we offer master's program, which we provide a degree in fine arts in drawing and painting, masters of design management, marketing, and we have recently launched masters in marketing and banking and finance. About the student life, we have a diverse students and faculty. This is like the range from, it's more than 20 countries, which we have different faculty and staff. And about the RUW Carnival, which is held every year. It is RUW's annual carnival. It is hosted every spring and is organized by the Student Council and is open to the public. This year, we couldn't organize it because of the COVID, and more than 30 people aren't allowed. So we couldn't do it, but this is one of the successful events of RUW. Then we have clubs and activities. For the clubs, we have International Club, Debate Club, Volunteering Club, MUN Club, and a recently developed Cooking Club. And we have college activities like Moot Court for College of Law students. We have OSL activities, which is Office of Student Life activities, which are workshops, beach cleanups, and fun day. And we also have students representing Bahrain in national teams, which is like in Injaz, in TradeQuest. I myself have been a part of TradeQuest, and we won for all the times we participated. Then these are pictures from some of the events and from the exchange, WVU and RUW exchange trip, students exchange trip and the events. And then for the facilities, RUW provide dorms for the students. Like we have a wide variety of students from like different countries. So for every day, if the students cannot come from Saudi or from Kuwait, they can have live in dorms. Then we have facilities like Sports Center with a facility of pool. We have 24/7 access to gym. We have Starbucks Coffee and Butter, which are two of the most favorite restaurants for the RUW students. Then we have a mini mart for the ease of dorm students. Then we have RUW Corner, which is a corner with a few restaurants for the students and open to the public as well. Then this is our cafeteria. And some of the facilities are still renovating, upcoming renovation, which includes horse riding. And then after graduate opportunities, we have our RUW graduates and alumni working and representing RUW and Bahrain in both the local, the public and private sectors. And then this is the last one, that our women, RUW, is leading the way and empowering women to lead positive change in the workplace and in the society. And that's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Perfect timing. So we have the other half of the break dedicated to our friends in Morgantown, or at least representing Morgantown. I don't know where you are physically, Elizabeth, this afternoon or this morning. So please help me welcome Elizabeth Sexton, a student from the Chambers College of Business and Economics. She's actually the Chambers Student Ambassador, and she's a finance and accounting major. Elizabeth, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Elizabeth, ready to roll? You can share your slides.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So like our moderator said, my name is Liz Sexton, and I am a presidential student ambassador for West Virginia University, as well as an ambassador for the Chambers College of Business and Economics. In the picture on this slide, you can see my presidential ambassador cohort, And the gentleman standing to our right is President Gordon Gee, who is the president of our university. This was taken during a lunch at his house to celebrate what we had accomplished through the semester. As you can see, my presentation is entitled Mountaineers Go First. And in this presentation, you'll see what makes WVU so special and how Mountaineers are able to go first in their careers and in their endeavors. Some quick facts about the university. WVU has over 360 different degree programs offered on the undergraduate and graduate levels. There are 26,839 students on the Morgantown campus. In the picture in the top right corner, you can see where WVU is located in the United States. WVU is an R1 research institution, which is the highest research designation given to universities in the United States, which is a really great opportunity for our students since they can research on the undergraduate and graduate levels. WVU has 500 plus student organizations, so no matter what your interests are, we have something at WVU to help you meet your goals. We also have the Carnegie Foundation Community Engagement Classification, which is only held by 6% of universities. This shows our continued commitment for service learning objectives, as well as community involvement for our students. WVU has Division I athletics, which provides a lot of great opportunities for students to watch football, basketball, and other sports to help them relax and enjoy their time here at WVU. West Virginia has all 4 seasons, so we will have snow as well as moderate weather and hotter weather in the summer. There are 2 main campuses at WVU for undergraduate activities, and these are commonly referred to as Evansdale and downtown campuses. They are a couple miles apart, and the main difference between these campuses is just where their different degree programs are held. So the College of Business is located downtown, whereas the College for Creative Arts and the College of Engineering are on Evansdale, and things like that. People commute between the 2 campuses using the PRT and bus system, and that picture on the bottom right is a picture of our university PRT. You get in the car and there's a track and it moves between the campuses, which it's a system that's unique to the university and we take a lot of pride in it. Like I said earlier, I'm a member of the John Chambers College of Business and Economics. I'm a double major in accounting and finance. People might wonder what our class size is. I've had classes that are as small as 10 people and as large as 350 people, just depending on the class and the type of instruction offered. Even during a non-pandemic year, classes are offered online, hybrid, and in person, just depending on the class and depending on the format. No matter the class size or the format, learning does take place at our institution and you will get a lot out of the classes that you take. Our classes offer different opportunities, which are really exciting for our students. I've gotten to be able to take part in corporate visits, such as going to Snowshoe Resort, which is a skiing resort in West Virginia, to view their business operations. We have different university partnerships, like with the Royal University for Women. I'm currently in a class this semester that is doing a global consulting with the University of Münster in Germany. We also have service learning projects, and in that picture you can see me with my group of students who are participating in the American Cancer Society Purse Bingo event. Over $16,000 was raised for that event, and we were in charge of their social media operations. We also offer real world experiences. And so as a double major in accounting and finance, I have the opportunity to participate in auditing with the State Department, as well as the Student Managed Investment Fund, where we manage investments for the university. We also have different career development programs as well as career fairs to make sure that our students are able to obtain a job after graduation. Our president commonly refers to our university as the Goldilocks University. There's a fable about 3 bears, and they try to sit in chairs and beds and those kinds of things, and that there's one that's too big, one that's too small, and then eventually one that's just the right size. And we always say that our university is not too big, not too small, but just the right size. The town of Morgantown has a population of 30,700 people, not including the university community. Our campus is very safe. We have our own university police department in addition to the police department in the city of Morgantown. We also have different student housing options available to our students. There are 12 different dorms, and you can see in that picture in the bottom right, myself with my roommate Adrian during our freshman year of college. This was in one of the dormitories at our university, and in the bottom floor of our university, we had the opportunity to have different Egyptian students live with us, which was really great to learn about their culture. There are also university apartments and off-campus housing options, as well as meal plans that are available to fit your needs and your schedule. We have different student organizations and service opportunities, like I said earlier. Well, I can't go through every single one that's offered at our university. Here are a few that I've had the opportunity to participate in. I am an officer for women in business. I'll be going into my second year as an officer in this upcoming school year. We offer different career development opportunities during our regular meetings, including salary negotiation workshops and a recent graduate panel where we talked about the concerns of women getting hired after graduation and some of the issues that they face in the workplace. I created our mentorship program for the club, which has inspired growth and personal development throughout our members. In that picture in the top right corner, you can see one of our meetings. We asked who in the group identifies as a woman in business, and you can see that we all raised our hands in celebration of who we are. I'm also an officer for the Collegiate DECA, which is a marketing case competition organization. And recently I was able to have a top 10 finish in a national marketing competition. So this was another really great opportunity. I'm also a volunteer for the Appalachian Prison Book Project, which sends books to prisoners in a 6-state region in the United States. I personally collected over 650 books. And in that bottom picture, you can see about half of the books that I collected over that semester. I'm also a member of the wrapping team, which wraps the books to be sent to the prisons. I'm also a volunteer for the Office of Accessibility Services, where I do closed caption editing. So that way those who are deaf and hard of hearing are able to take advantage of the lectures and opportunities here at WVU, just like any other student. I'm also an ambassador for the university, as you found out, and I do speeches for freshman seminar curriculum to help our freshmen adjust to the university experience as best as possible. If you have any questions about the West Virginia University, feel free to reach me at my email. It's listed on the slide above. Thank you.
Dr. Lanz, back to you. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Thank you very much, Elizabeth.
All right, back to me. Okay, so I need to tell our group they need to come back.
Okay.
To come back now. And so I guess we're just now waiting for all of the students to come back and to reach us for the next part of the debate. I would ask that the students from West Virginia University, when you're focused again, could you turn your camera on so that we know you're here? And I will also I just want to say as an offshoot, Liz is one of our best and brightest in both the college and the university, so I'm really glad that she could be with us today. And Faziz from RUW, I was so very fortunate to work with her when I was at RUW 2 years ago, and I'm very much looking forward, hopefully if you'll have us back, I'm looking forward to working with her then. So
thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Lanz. And again, we thank you very much for highlighting what both universities are doing. And despite COVID, it's quite impressive how involved our students have been over the years, but especially during that year. It hasn't stopped them to do all kinds of involvement with the volunteer organization and coming up with some great ideas. Dr. Dolly and yourself spoke about our collaboration between Chambers Business and Economics and the College of Business and Financial Science. We had, I think, a couple of lectures through you, of course, and your course, but also this week we just had a course in training and development with Dr. Dennis and our colleague, Dr. Debashish. We had a co-lecture in interior design last week with Professor Delany and Dr. Hadil. We're benchmarking against one another. West Virginia has been supporting us in the ICSP work. So it's a full-fledged relationship. And of course, this season is a sweet season for us because it's our, student exchange season with two main sequences, the January trip, usually when our students go there. And it's really nice, again, for Elizabeth to highlight the PRT and the campus that our students were supposed to see sometime with snow, which is always, kind of the highlights of the trip. And of course, for you guys to come when the weather is changing here and enjoy Bahraini hospitality. But as Fiza mentioned, whether we have students from Saudi, students from Pakistan, students from India, students from Europe. So again, quite a bonding. And of course, this exercise is about debate, but it's really about friendship and public diplomacy.
Yes, and good karak chai. And I want to also say that some of the pictures that Fizia showed, she showed actually a welcoming barbecue that you had for us at RUW when we were there last year, which was one of the most spectacular barbecues I've ever been to. And she also showed a picture of when your students traveled here. Not only did they get to visit our innovation lab, and see the little dancing robot and learn about some of the work we're doing there, but they were also able to go sled riding. We went snow tubing, and that seemed to be a highlight of the trip. Those of us in the United States were kind of sick of the snow, but they really lightened things up for us, and we really appreciate that.
Yes.
So
And
I think,
yeah, you ready? You guys ready?
Speakers are all back. Yeah. So I think we're ready to go.
I think our students are coming back. I just want also say hello to our orientation students. So I know Miss Amy, Miss Ajer, rally the troops to have a lot of students. And of course, a special hello to Amy Owen and Catherine Funk, who are West Virginia alumni and decided to jump to this side to work with the team. And again, working on this partnership on through the years.
Can I tell my Catherine Funk story? Catherine Funk and I met in Bahrain, and it turns out we're from the very same, very small town. And Catherine's first cousin and my first cousin are the same person. We're not related to each other, but we both are related to the same person. So it's a small world, even when you fly 15 hours to get there.
Yes, and again, I want also observe that the collaboration this year doesn't stop today. We will continue case study in marketing through your class. We will have a fashion show organized by West Virginia and RUW, where RUW just sent the addresses for virtual fashion show, which will take place in May, and we will continue the cycle of co-lectures, and hopefully in the summer and the fall, we will resume the face-to-face visiting professorship, but in the meantime, we will continue the virtual collaboration. Okay, guys, I think it's time to go back because the class at WVU ends in 25 minutes. So what we're gonna do now, again, as per the tradition and the rules, we're gonna have a round of rebuttals. And Susan, the order is the same for you guys, right? We'll start with
the same order as the beginning, yes.
Yes. So Stephanie, Katie, Marissa, and Sophie. And for us, it's going to be the same order with Aldana, Noor, Fatima, and Sakina. Yes. Okay, so you guys ready? We're gonna start with Aldana. You have 1 minute. So what I will do, sorry, with Fatma, I will ring the bell after 45 seconds, and the rebuttal is only 1 minute. Okay, Fatima would like to come.
Hello again. I will be replying to my colleague from the opposing team.
Okay.
I see.
Hold on a second. Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. So I'll be replying to my colleague from the opposing team. I see that she had mentioned that the healthcare, education, and multiple other sectors are filled with women. Women make the majority of these sectors. However, they are underrepresented. And yes, I truly agree with you. I said the same point in the beginning of my speech. But where we do contradict is women make the majority of these fields. And that is an opportunity for them. COVID-19 provided this opportunity. Mostly, she said that there has been unconscious bias in leadership roles. I would say it's not unconscious. It's totally conscious. But however, with COVID-19, people are more aware of these women. They're more aware now that all these women are in health sector. They're working, they're juggling work and private life balance. They're doing all these roles. We have fought the battle of equality for decades now. With COVID-19, it's not just hype. We have examples now of all these women. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will call back Stephanie Golden. Stephanie, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, let me get ready. Stephanie, go.
While the pandemic may have given women a chance to step up into leadership roles, this does not mean they are being treated as equals. There is a psychological phenomenon known as gendered split perception. Even when men and women are performing the same actions, women are viewed through a prior lens of suspicion. While he is seen as a leader, she is seen as aggressive and untrustworthy. Women in masculine coded positions are treated poorly because they're stealing men's thunder and taking their place in history. Although women have done an excellent job leading in politics, healthcare, education, they have dealt with severe consequences, such as severe burnout and increased mental health issues due to lack of work-life balance. According to the New York Times, if American women earned minimum wage for their unpaid work, they would have made $1.5 trillion last year. Let that sink in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I will call now Aldana, who's going to be give the second affirmative rebuttal for RUW.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go, Aldana.
So, the fact that it has been stated that it's a nightmare for women in healthcare, that doesn't sound very professional, honestly, because the way of looking at it, the fact that women work more than men does not mean it's a nightmare. They've been doing it ever since. It's their job. So it was more of an opportunity for them to outshine men in this sector. COVID has provided nothing but opportunities for women in healthcare and a chance to step up and prove that they can handle any type of job with any type of risk. So I can end this by saying it doesn't mean if like you're a man or a woman that the job is going to be harder for you. It's just the way that you tackle these barricades. Say the last word?
The last word.
Is what counts. That's it. Thank you so much.
And the last word counted. Thank you. Okay, so according to the first part, I think now we're going to welcome Katie. Am I correct? Katie,
Yes.
Are you with us?
Yes.
Are you ready, Katie?
Mm-hmm.
Go, Katie.
The argument that e-commerce has opened up opportunities for women during the COVID-19 pandemic fails to account for the global situation that many women face and represents opportunities for just a limited group of privileged women. Many women, as well as men, do not have accessible internet resources in countries rich and poor alike. The overall failure to account for these large proportions of the world where an online business is not an option also does not recognize the substantial impact on women specifically. A study from the World Wide Web Foundation shows that globally, men are 21 more likely than women to have an online access. It is possible that the pandemic allowed for increased online businesses, but this does not necessarily mean that it is applicable for women. Additionally, a survey from the US Chamber of Commerce showed that women who were small business owners rated their business overall well-being as dropped from 60 down to 47% since the pandemic started. The overall health of business owners and their change to online is not a positive experience for much of the world.
Thank you very much, Katie. So next speaker for RUW is going to be Noor. Okay, Noor, you ready?
Yeah.
Remove your mask. Okay, go.
Although I agree with my esteemed counterpart that women have a lack of opportunities to take senior position and they are not being recognized, I'm sorry to say, but there's no evidence for that. Though, when we come to global statistics, 70% of women are in the healthcare sector. And in Bahrain, women are within the high decision-making panel in this pandemic. We have health ministers, which are women. We have main decision makers for this pandemic as women. Aren't these senior position opportunities given to women because of the pandemic? I think you got the answer by now. Thank you.
Short and sweet. Okay. Marisa is going to be the next speaker for the rebuttal. Marisa, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Yes? Okay, hold on a second. Go.
The speaker from RUW said we didn't know how significant women were in the healthcare field, but that is exactly the problem. This expectation to sacrifice their emotional and physical well-being should never have been a burden for women to bear. Yes, women are admirable for their dedication to public health, but their sacrifices were exploited during the pandemic. Undoubtedly, women are resilient, but highlighting their exploitation during the pandemic does not support this. If anything, it brings light to how undervalued women's contributions are, despite our societal reliance on them. Women need to be recognized for their contributions, not just when it's a trend or when the ship is sinking. Thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be Sakina. Am I correct? Sakina is going to be closing the RUW round. Sakina, are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
As I do not invalidate the stresses that COVID has caused, global food supply is not a gender-based issue, it's a humanity issue, and we've been suffering from this for decades. It's not rooted from COVID-19 as a topic, and our topic is to discuss the opportunities that women have been given during COVID-19. The stress of mothers and households has been evident long before COVID-19, whether the mother is a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home father is the one leading the household. It doesn't discredit women from all the efforts they have put in their houses. And in all cases, whether a single mother or a single father, they're going to face the same stresses because in COVID-19, if the single father takes over a household, he's going to have to work and the mother is going to have to do the same. We're discussing a global issue, which means US statistics are not to be used to invalidate women all around the world, because it's just invalid any kind of progress we've made in any part of the world, and some progress is better than none.
And for our last speaker from West Virginia University, I would like to call Sophie. Sophie, are you with us?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go, Sophie. Yeah, go.
According to the WHO, as COVID-19 cases surged, so did the cases of domestic violence. In the United States alone, 1 in 4 women experience intimate partner violence. Initial information from the WHO have reported an increase of 50 to 60% of global domestic violence cases during the pandemic based on survivors' calls for help to women organization hotlines. This includes the most vulnerable groups of women, including those living with disabilities who are at an increased risk of domestic violence and may face further barriers in reaching the services they need, such as social assistance and home care, due to curfews and social distancing on restrictions on movement. Also, displaced and refugee women and women living in conflicted areas are particularly vulnerable due to high density and close proximity in living conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Closes the second and final round of rebuttal. So I think first of all, we owe a big round of applause to both teams. Good job. Dr. Lance, we're so excited to have managed to get this program going on a smaller scale. but definitely on a very significant scale. More than 200 people followed us this morning in the United States, maybe in the afternoon in Europe, or in the evening in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And I think Dr. Lance will agree with me that both teams did an amazing job. And I think you guys highlighted some important issues about women advancement, still some gaps to be notified when it comes to women rights and women issues, but definitely quite a contribution of women across the world. And it was very interesting to hear about the case study of the Kingdom of Bahrain, chairing task force, being entrepreneurs, significant senior positions, the supervision and the support of the Supreme Council for Women has been really decisive in the work during this pandemic. And both of you guys, both of the team, recognize the amazing contribution when it comes to in the healthcare sector. Yes, not perfect. Yes, very long shifts. Yes, a triple shift, being work, handling the kids, handling the house chores. So obviously not an easy task for all those women across the world. But I think both teams recognize the progress, on a certain scale, whether it's in Bahrain, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in the United States, and a lot of achievements, no matter what. So it was not an easy task, of course, to criticize or to look at the negative impact, but those issues have been highlighted in the literature, in the newspaper article, in magazines over the past year. And I think a lot of progress has been made, whatever we decide to agree or disagree. So thank you very much, both teams. Again, quite an intellectual stimulation for all of us this evening in Bahrain or this morning in the United States. And I will pass the floor to Dr. Lance for a few words as well. Thank you.
At West Virginia University, after we have a football game or after we have a basketball game, we all listen to the song Country Roads. I had the privilege last year, 2 years ago, of listening to Country Roads in Bahrain with our friends from the Royal University for Women. And I desperately want to play it right now because I feel as if we have all had a wonderful experience here today. I know that my students learned so much from researching the topic. It is clear that your students did a lot of work researching the topic. And I so desperately wish that we were all in the same room and could pour a cup of karak chai and sit down and really discuss longer and harder. We're going to have to wait for next year until we can do that. I certainly hope I get to see all of the women who are in the room there with you, Vivian, within the next 12 months. And I certainly hope we will get to sit in that room with you within the next 12 months. Thank you all very much for everything that you've done. Vivian, we couldn't have done this without each other. You have certainly been a wonderful partner in crime. And here's to more great debates, and here is to more interaction between our two wonderful schools. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Susan. Once again, I would like to thank the coach on the RUW team, Ms. Hajer.
Thank you, Dr. Vivian. Thank you so much, and thank you for allowing me this amazing opportunity. Thank you, girls. You worked so hard. I would like to thank also the WVU team. You did very well, so thank you all, and stay safe.
Yes.
And as we play out,
we want to thank the College of Law at RUW who provided this amazing team this afternoon. And yes.
There we go.
Can't wait to see you in Bahrain next year, folks.
Post your sway, guys.
Get the karak chai ready.
Thank you very much. The next event, guys, will be on Sunday, where on the 10th, when Dr. Farah will actually give a guest lecture in one of the College of Law classes. Again, we're trying to combine the different style of expertise, and law is not exactly in the same curriculum in the United States in Morgantown, but public administration will be supporting us and the other way around. And we'll have Dr. Paolo intervening in Dr. Boria's class on the 10th. And of course, warm hello to Pasquale Boria, who's with us this afternoon. I'm sure very proud of his students this evening. Dr. Oman, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Romel, Mr. Omar for the IT. Greetings to Dr. Monasuri, who was in India and then came on this Zoom call. Special thought,
Hi, Dr. Mono.
for the Zamul family who started this friendship, this relationship when our board members who were alumni of West Virginia, and without them, we wouldn't be together today talking about resilience and humanity or just women advancement in general. So thank you very much, guys. I think it's the end of class time. A last word for you, Dr. Lance, so it's okay.
The last word, I'll leave it up to John Denver.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. See you soon. Thank you, guys. Good job. Oh, you guys did amazing.